Well, thank you so much for joining us on SARFM TV's News Desk. To present the news, my name is Imelda Chikwati. The headlines. President Hakainde Hichilema has called on all public and private officers, whether serving within Zambia or abroad, to prioritize the interests of the people above personal gain. Minister of Education Douglas Yakalima has announced new academic options for learners who do not perform well in the 2025 Grade 9 examinations as part of sweeping reforms to Zambia's school curriculum. The Tonse Alliance has expressed shock and dismay over the arrest and detention of political analyst and former presidential advisor Dr. Chris Zumani-Zimba, alleging that the action was politically motivated and directed by President Hakainde Hichilema. The stage is set for two thrilling semi-final clashes at the 2024 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON in Morocco today, Tuesday, July 22nd.
The News, 88.5 Sun FM.
Hichilema has called on all public and private officers, whether serving within Zambia or abroad, to prioritize the interests of the people above personal gain. He emphasized that every appointment to public office comes with the responsibility of serving citizens with transparency, accountability, and integrity. The president delivered his remarks during the swearing-in ceremony of 4 senior officials, including 3 ambassadors and 1 lands commissioner, held in Lusaka. He reminded the appointees that public service involves continuous scrutiny and that they must uphold lawful conduct in the execution of their duties. The 4 appointments were made under Article 92.2 of the Constitution of Zambia. They include Shadrack Mbewe as Lands Commissioner, Lieutenant General Sitali Alubwizi as Ambassador Plenipotentiary and Extraordinary to the Federal Republic of Brazil, Brigadier General Wilson Tembo as Ambassador Plenipotentiary and Extraordinary to the Republic of Zimbabwe, and Wesley Hazembe as Ambassador Plenipotentiary and Extraordinary to the State of Israel. President Hichilema congratulated the newly sworn-in officials and wished them well in their new roles, reaffirming his administration's focus on promoting integrity and meaningful service in both domestic and international engagements.
If you take money from a person for a favor, citizens will know. It's a question of when, not whether or not they will know. They will know. So in private times, be conscious. Where I was raised, we say that this war has eyes and ears. This war is seeing us and listening to us. That's the meaning. That nothing is done in secrecy. If you are in public office, I must dare say, even when you are in private office, you do something outside the law, somebody's watching. Someday it will come out. Let us clean lands. There's a lot of hanky-panky going on there.
Minister of Education Douglas Yakalima has announced new academic options for learners who do not perform well in the 2025 Grade 9 examinations as part of sweeping reforms to Zambia's school curriculum. Speaking during a media breakfast engagement in Lusaka, Mr. Yakalima explained that under the revised policy, learners who fail the exams will have 2 choices: either restart in Form 1, which is Grade 8, or remain in Grade 9 to prepare for the General Certificate of Education (GCE) examination, which they will sit for in 2029. He revealed that the upcoming 2025 Junior Secondary External and School Leaver Examination will be the last of its kind as the ministry works toward a full implementation of the new curriculum, and Mr. Siakali reaffirmed his ministry's commitment to executing the reforms through systematic steps aimed at enhancing educational outcomes. Meanwhile, the director of the Examination Council of Zambia, Dr. Michael Jilala, also shared optimism about the direction of the reforms, noting that the revamped curriculum aligns with international standards and is poised to positively transform the nation's education sector.
In the interest of us serving the nation better, we have moved to begin to develop our in-house processing system, which will be fully integrated to the various platforms or portals that we have already launched out in the past. And we are hoping that by the end of the year, we'll be processing results in parallel using the old system and the new system we are developing.
The Tonse Alliance has expressed shock and dismay over the arrest and detention of political analyst and former presidential advisor Dr. Chris Zumanizimba, alleging that the action was politically motivated and directed by President Hakainde Hichilema. Alliance spokesperson Sean Tembo accused the president of abusing his authority by intervening in a personal feud between Dr. Nevas Mumba and Dr. Zimba. He alleged that Dr. Mumba is a close ally of President Hakainde Hichilema, while Dr. Zimba is considered a political adversary, raising concerns that state institutions may be used to settle personal disputes. Mr. Tembo further claimed that the arrest reflects a troubling pattern of political intolerance and called on the president to conduct himself with basic human decency in matters involving dissent and public discourse. He also challenged both the president and the judiciary to clarify the criteria and procedures used by the High Court in hearing appeals, particularly those involving convicted individuals. Mr. Tembo emphasized that transparency in legal proceedings is essential for preserving public confidence in Zambia's democratic institutions.
Is shocked by the decision of the Republican president to send his policemen to go and arrest Dr. Chris Zumanizimba over an alleged offense of criminal defamation against Dr. Nevas Mumba. It is a well-documented fact that for more than 2 years now, Dr. Nevas Mumba and Dr. Chris Zumanizimba have been involved in a public dispute and quarrel where they have traded accusations and counter-accusations against one another, as well as an exchange of demand letters between the lawyers of the two individuals. All this has been in the public domain.
Police in Lusaka yesterday arrested and charged political analyst and former presidential advisor Dr. Chris Zumanizimba for cyber harassment and libel following alleged defamatory publications targeting prominent politician Dr. Nevas Mumba. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga confirmed the development in a statement issued to the media. And Dr. Zimba, age 45, and a resident of Chunga village in Chongo district, has been charged with 2 counts of harassment utilizing electronic communication, contrary to Section 69 of the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act No. 2 of 2021. He also faces one count of libel under Section 191 of the Penal Code Act, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. Mr. Hamonga explained that the charges stem from two articles authored by Dr. Zimba, one published on his Facebook page on May 2nd, 2024, and another in the Mass newspaper dated May 4th, 2024. Both pieces reportedly contained defamatory content directed at Dr. Mumba. Dr. Zimba has since been released on police bond and is expected to appear before the courts of law in due course.
Brief facts of the matter are that on the 2nd of May 2024, Dr. Zimba published an article on his Facebook page, and furthermore, on the 4th of May 2024, Dr. Zimba authored another article published in the Mass newspaper edition number 4533-SM393, bordering on harassment against Dr. Nevas Mumba. As a result of these publications, Dr. Zimba has been formally charged with 2 counts of harassment.
The Zambian government has reiterated its dedication to building an inclusive and transformative digital economy aimed at boosting the country's participation in regional and global digital trade. Speaking during the Digital Inclusion Policy Dialogue, Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry Permanent Secretary Lilian Bwalia described the platform as a vital component of Zambia's broader digital transformation agenda. She emphasized the importance She emphasized the importance of equipping micro, small and medium enterprises with the tools and knowledge needed to thrive in the digital space, while ensuring that marginalized groups are not left behind. Ms. Wale stated that the outcomes of the dialogue would directly inform Zambia's implementation roadmap for the African Continental Free Trade Area, with a strong emphasis on empowering women, youth, persons with disabilities, and small-scale traders. She noted that the government's commitment aligns with the National Digital Transformation Strategy 2023-2027, which outlines key pillars such as digital infrastructure, platforms, services, literacy, and innovation.
Government says it is stepping up efforts to build an inclusive and transformative digital economy, describing it as a key driver for Zambia's meaningful participation in regional and global trade under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Addressing stakeholders during the Digital Inclusion Policy Dialogue in Lusaka, Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry Permanent Secretary Lilian Bwalia underscored the growing agency to bridge the digital divide, especially among marginalized groups such as women, youths, persons with disabilities, and small-scale cross-border traders.
Effort to ensure that digital transformation is both inclusive and equitable. This policy dialogue represents a critical juncture to convene government policymakers, private sector, civil society, trader representatives to contribute their expertise, insights, solutions to accelerate Zambia's progress in advancing inclusive digitalization and digital trade, to identify policy and regulatory as well as infrastructure gaps that must be addressed to realize the full potential of digital trade.
The event, organized in collaboration with Global Affairs Canada under the Facilitating Inclusive, Resilient and Sustainable Trade FIRST project, has attracted development partners and regional stakeholders.
Continental Free Trade
FIRST team leader Nadila Bayat stressed the importance of targeted policies to close infrastructure and access gaps
in economic integration and advance inclusive socio-economic development. At the center of this historic opportunity is the ABSA FTA Protocol on Digital Trade.
Meanwhile, head of office at the High Commission of Canada, Corey Van Gaal, observed that Zambia is yet to fully tap into the benefits of trade.
Economic development. So today we're here to talk about the policy, which is the foundation of digital trade. And what we've learned in Canada is that one, infrastructure, as mentioned by Nadira, is a really important element.
As discussions continue, stakeholders say the challenge is not about whether to embrace digital trade, but how quickly and inclusively it can be achieved before vulnerable populations are left behind in the rapidly digitizing global economy. Thomas Mwale, reporting for Sun FM TV News in Lusaka.
Trade expert Posta Jumbe has called on the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry to introduce targeted support measures to help ordinary Zambians benefit from the recent appreciation of the kwacha. Mr. Jumbe noted that while the kwacha's strengthening and the drop in fuel prices mark positive shifts in the economy, most consumers have yet to experience the impact due to unchanged transport costs and lingering trade-related expenses. He pointed out that traders, particularly those engaged in cross-border commerce, continue to face high transportation charges, preventing them from passing on savings to consumers despite improved exchange rates. He concluded by emphasizing the need for a holistic economic strategy that engages every link in the supply chain, ensuring that macroeconomic improvements translate into tangible relief for the general public. Zambia has made significant progress in its battle against malaria following the delivery of over 100,000 vials of life-saving anti-malarial medication by the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA. According to ZAMSA's Senior Manager of Corporate Communications, Mr. Bradley Chingobe, the agency received a shipment of 100,000 vials of WHO pre-qualified at a Sunet 60 mg on July 18, 2025. And this essential drug is used in the treatment of severe malaria and forms part of the 31 million kwacha procurement initiative aimed at strengthening access to malaria treatment nationwide. This latest consignment follows an earlier delivery of 8,400 vials, bringing the total number of vials received to more than 108,400. Mr. Chingobe highlighted that the medicines will significantly boost the capacity of health facilities, particularly in high-burden regions, to manage severe malaria cases effectively. He further revealed that an additional 244,600 vials are currently en route from China and expected to arrive in the country within days. ZAMSA is collaborating closely with supply chain partners to ensure the timely arrival of the remaining stock. He said this delivery is a critical component of Zambia's broader strategy to eliminate malaria and protect public health by maintaining a consistent supply of effective treatments. ZAMSA continues to play a pivotal role in supporting the Ministry of Health's malaria control and elimination efforts. He added that the arrival of the medication is expected to enhance preparedness, close treatment gaps, and improve health outcomes in malaria endemic areas across the country.
Of essential anti-malaria commodities across the country. This latest delivery follows the successful receipt of an earlier consignment of 8,400 vials, bringing the total received so far to 108,400 vials. These vital supplies will immediately bolster the capacity of health facilities, particularly those in high-burden areas, and this will help to effectively manage and treat severe malaria cases. ZAMSA further wishes to inform the public and stakeholders that the remaining 244,600 vials are currently in transit from China and are expected to arrive into the country in a few days' time. The agency remains engaged with its supply chain partners to ensure timely and uninterrupted delivery of all essential health commodities.
The Patriotic Front, PF in Livingstone, has accused the ruling United Party for National Development, UPND, of allegedly colluding with PF faction leader Robert Chawinga to stage a protest aimed at swaying public opinion on the repatriation of Zambia's 60th Republican President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. In a telephone interview with Sun FM Radio and TV, PF Livingstone District Chairperson Mr. Kabandala labeled the alleged coordination as a betrayal of the Zambian people who were promised a government committed to upholding the rule of law. Mr. Kabanda claimed that Chawinga, who also serves as Member of Parliament for Mafinga, is being supported and protected by the state to organize demonstrations adorned in PF regalia, thereby distorting the party's official stance. He voiced concern over what he described as government-sponsored irregularities surrounding the recognition of Chawinga as PF president, warning that such actions erode internal party democracy and sideline legitimate leadership processes. Touching on discussions related to the possible repatriation and burial of the late President Lungu, Mr. Kabanda also condemned alleged efforts to obstruct ongoing legal proceedings in South Africa. He called on PF members and supporters to reject Chawinga's leadership claims and uphold the party's constitution with determination and unity.
We want to go and corrupt the judges in South Africa. It's very unfortunate that we can go to that extent. We as a Patriotic Front and the Livingstone constituency, we regret that plan by Chawinga and his associates, and we condemn it to the highest point. Let the law in South Africa prevail over what is happening, and we would like to see that the wishes of the family are followed. It is always important that a person is attached to his family. Look at what has happened in Nigeria. The former president was buried in his own place where he has hailed from. Why are we not learning from such kind of things?
Kabushi constituency aspiring candidate Tilas Sichinga has called on the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, to engage all political parties and relevant stakeholders in meaningful dialogue before making key decisions leading up to the upcoming by-elections and the 2026 general elections. Mr. Sichinga emphasized that heightened political activity often brings rising tensions among competing parties and their supporters, warning that a lack of inclusive consultation could lead to unnecessary conflict and perceptions of bias. He expressed concern over recent actions involving the banning of political parties without prior engagement, arguing that such moves undermine democratic principles, stating that it is imperative that all stakeholders are brought to the table for open and constructive dialogue. Despite his concerns, he commended the government for creating a peaceful political climate ahead of the by-elections, noting that such efforts lay a solid foundation for credible and calm general elections. He further stated that Zambia has long been known for its peace, and moving forward, national unity and the spirit of one Zambia, one nation should guide political and civic actions.
Making an appeal to ECZ that whenever they're making certain radical decisions, they must make sure that all stakeholders are involved. This comes in respect to the banning of other political parties to participate, to wear those t-shirts where their political parties not participating. I believe that move was not well thought out. It must be very important for ECZ to sit with that before they make certain decisions which affect other stakeholders. They must always try and consult, have a roundtable discussion, then come with a resolution. so that we do not have unnecessary tempers as we go towards general election. There was no need of having anonymity with the other stakeholders. As we all know, the opposition is also a key stakeholder. The civil society and the government, we are all key stakeholders of this country called Zambia. So for us to see peace as we head towards the general election, we must be very consultative on every matter, especially sensitive matters.
Leadership Movement President Dr. Richard Silumbe has urged the government to deploy safety experts to mining zones in a bid to educate small-scale and artisanal miners on best practices, reducing the risk of accidents and potential conflicts between communities and the state. Speaking in an interview, Dr. Silumbe emphasized that the government should adopt the same proactive stance toward mining safety as it does with road safety initiatives. He noted that many mining-related accidents could be prevented if local communities received training on proper operational standards and risk management. He stressed that sending qualified experts to educate rural miners would not only save lives, but also enhance the trust between the state and its citizens in mineral-rich regions, as such engagement could be the key to building safer, more sustainable community mining operations.
When it comes to mining, when people die, 3 people die, it's all over news that people have died. What we want is the government to identify those miners who want to participate in mining and educate them about safety. Ratsa doesn't move around closing the roads because people are dying. Why should the mining sector be anxious at stopping people talking about illegal mining when people are earning a living? So the idea is Zambians should participate in mining. When deaths arise, we should send experts to teach them safety measures whilst allowing them to continue mining, because everywhere there is death.
We take a break. We return with the sports news. Stay with us.
Win namamuli 1 million na ABSA. Play your cards right, Muntu Andy, and you could win big. Simply tap or swipe any of your ABSA cards 5 times in a month, and you could be one of 10 lucky winners to take home a cheap 10-pin in monthly prizes or walk away with a grand prize of 250,000 kwacha. Chaliroku, and you cannot afford to not get lucky. Use your ABSA card to enter the draw. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
In sports news, the stage is set for 2 thrilling semi-final clashes at the 2024 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON in Morocco today, Tuesday, July 22nd. 9-time champions Nigeria will lock horns with defending title holders South Africa at Stade Labi Zaoli in Casablanca. Kickoff is scheduled for 18 hours. Central African time in what promises to be a high-octane battle between 2 continental giants. Later in the evening, host Morocco take on Ghana, the lowest-ranked side remaining in the tournament, at Stade Moulay Hassan in Rabat. The match begins at 21 hours, with both teams eyeing their first-ever WAFCON title. In a major incentive, the Confederation of African Football CAF has doubled the prize money for the tournament winner to $1 million and unveiled a brand new trophy to mark the occasion. Now, as we leave the headlines once again, President Hakainde Hichilema has called on all public and private officers, whether serving within Zambia or abroad, to prioritize the interests of the people above personal gain. Minister of Education Douglas Siakalima has announced new academic options for learners who do not perform well in the 2025 Grade 9 examinations as part of sweeping reforms to Zambia's school curriculum. The Tonse Alliance has expressed shock and dismay over the arrest and detention of political analyst and former presidential advisor Dr. Chris Zumani Zimba, alleging that the action was politically motivated and directed by President Hakainde Hichilema. In sports, the stage is set for two thrilling semi-final clashes at the 2024 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON in Morocco today, Tuesday, July 22nd. Ends the news. My name is Imelda Chukwati. Stay tuned.
The News, 88.5 Sun FM.
Win namamuli 1 million na ABSA. Play your cards right, Muntu Andy, and you could win big. Simply tap or swipe any of your ABSA cards